It's Sunday night at 10 p.m. and welcome to Value Town here on the APAT Show. Lee, we are back. It's nice to be back. It feels like the 2 weeks have been a lot longer than that. And I've got to say, I'm loving those snazzy new graphics.
Well, some of us were, traveling the length and breadth of the country, having a bit of a holiday and a break, and some of us were slaving over a hot animation software to get some new titles. So all good. It's nice to be back, though, isn't it?
It's lovely to be back, and hopefully there are a few people out there watching us on Twitch, Poker. And if you're out there, just drop a hello into the chat box so we know. Right, drop a hello. We'll say hello back, and we're going to get on with the content. Right, the important content tonight, Lee. It's all about the poker. What tourneys are we covering?
So it's our Sunday night, which I've missed for the last couple of weeks, but I will later on give a quick shout out for those that have done well whilst we've been having a little bit of a break, because the poker certainly hasn't stopped whilst we've been off air. But yeah, it's the usual Sunday night. So it's 4 tournaments. It's the deep stack that was at 5 o'clock. That's already finished. $750 in the prize pool. The main chunk of that has gone to Germany, to Alexander Selber. Well done to him. There's also cash on its way to Estonia and Bulgaria. So a right mix for the deep stack tonight. Our main event, $2,500 guarantee. We've smashed that, $2,916 in the prize pool tonight, as you can see in the lobby there. That's top left. We are just on the money bubble in that. It's paying top 15. There's 16 left, so we've got 2 tables. So we'll jump straight to it as soon as I've just rattled through all the tournaments here. Nice prize of $765 up top in that. We'll give some shout outs for those in a moment. The PLO tonight, that's already on a final table. 7 left in that, paying top 6. So that's on the money bubble as well. 34 runners starting that. So we just got over the $1,000 guarantee, and it's $1,020 in the prize pool. And then finally, the 9 p.m. turbo knockout, the $500 guarantee, as we always say every single Sunday. Don't even worry about that. $750 in the prize pool for that one. 75 runners. We're paying top 13, currently on 39, so we'll keep an eye on that as well as we go. But I suggest we're hand for hand at the moment in the main event. That's probably the best place for us to go, Des, I reckon, to start off.
Let's do it.
So let's have a look. So we got both tables on the go here. So a few names that you'll recognise on this particular table. Adam Bromley is there on 235,000. Yanni, the best player in Ilfracombe, with a very, very similar stack as well. I think that's the chip leader, or second in chips is Richard Cox with 681,000. We'll quickly flip over to the other table where we will see our chip leader up there, which is Daniela from Germany with 900,000. Blinds are at 8,000, 16,000 in this. So, and they're playing hand for hand at the moment. Min cash is $70. So we're going to keep an eye on both of these tables, and if we see an all in the call, we'll try and flick across and give you some of the action as we go. Tristan Chaplin's also still going strong here,
looks a bit short, Lee. Are you sure strong is the right word?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, he's in a similar position to Ray Chan and to Brandon, I guess. All 3 of those really are playing about 4 or 5 bigs. But as we know, is that we only need one more bust and they're going to be in the money. So they're going to be looking to pick their moment here. There's one short stack over on the other table, which is Andreas Stauder, has got a similar stack to those 2. So there's 4 of them that are all at risk here, but only one of them is going to miss out. So you can afford to just kind of bide your time. We'll flip over to the other table as whilst that one's waiting to play there. So this is a hand with Richard Cox and Oliver, and it's a call. Richard has a stab at that, and Oliver makes the call and takes that one down. So round on we go again. Blinds have now just got up to 10,000, 20,000. So
fantastic. I see a Mr. Adam Bromley there as well.
Yes.
Interesting. So you mentioned Yanni, of course. Did you say the second best player in Ilfracombe, or he is the second best player in Ilfracombe, right?
I think he's the second. I think he's the second because I think Tony still takes first
Well, we can change
first
that
place.
rift.
We've got an all in the call, and it's Brandon and Tristan.
Chris.
Just as we're talking, Ace King against Pocket
Oh,
Fours,
gonna
and
hit.
why he hits on the river. Tristan
Wow.
hits the jack on the river for Broadway, and there is our bubble burst.
Wow.
I said it could be as simple as that. Very unfortunate for Brandon there, really. Got it in with the fours, 2 of the short stacks, and Tristan got a little bit lucky on the river there, but
I think he did, but he'll take it, he'll take
not a
it. You've got to
problem
take
at
the rough
all.
with the smooth. That was an APAT
Exactly.
anti-bok. We don't do that very often, Lee, where we mention somebody and actually they double up shortly afterwards. It normally happens the other way around. They half, or half again. It's never good.
Exactly. That's the
was
way it is. But that does mean, so say that is the bubble burst. So we're down to 15 now. So they're all guaranteed min cash of $70, which means I think we'll see a little bit of action, certainly on this table here, because Ray Chan from Canada is really on like less than 2 bigs now. So you kind of assume it's got to go in at some point for him.
Fantastic.
Let's see whether it's this hand or not. And it is, and I'd imagine Tristan's going to call. He does. Oh, and Tristan's hit the king. It's going to need to be an ace or a jack, and it's not going to happen. So we're going to lose Ray.
Wow.
He departs in 15th, and on we go.
And Tristan has gone from a bowl to a sort of medium-sized family meal.
Yeah, pretty much tripled his.
Pretty impressive in a very short space of time.
Now, isn't he? Because he had about 80,000. So yeah, pretty much tripled.
I'm just putting a post up in the group to say that we're live.
Back on the other table, and we've got an all in here. And decision for Richard Cox, and he decides to let that one go. So we'll keep an eye on the PLO as well. That is now down to 6. So they are in the money there. Let me quickly show you that table just so we can give you a quick. So you can see who's on that. Brandon, well, he's just bust the bubbled the no limit hold'em, but he is going to make up for it in the fact, Des, that he is in the final 6 of the PLO tonight. So he's going to cash in that one for sure. Also got Richard Rudling Smith in there as well, and Mark Winsell. So good luck to you guys. We'll keep an eye on that one as well, depending on how quickly the no limit hold'em plays down.
Any of the guys in the running for this week's leaderboard, Lee?
Yeah, so it's an interesting it's an interesting one this week. Matty Ogilvy is top of the tree going into today, but closely followed by Konstantin Chersin from Russia, who's had 4 cashes this week and has already had another cash tonight in the deep stack. Wow. So I think Konstantin is probably going to overtake him. Ray Chan, who we saw in the leaderboard. Gordon MacArthur is in the top 20. Tony Ross in 13th place. Richard Rudling Smith is 11th going into today. So yeah, we'll be interesting to see how that happens. Now, Richard won the leaderboard last week.
Did he? Nice result.
Beat Tony Ross into 2nd, and Dan Williams was in 4th place.
Wow. Okay.
Last week, so haven't seen Dan play for the week before that. Well, that was a Brendan Byrne win. He finished 1st. Gordon MacArthur was 2nd, and Matty Ogilvy 3rd. Di Farrell was 4th. And the week before that was another Brendan Byrne win. He did back to backs. And Matty Ogilvy was 4th. And so if you're seeing a few different names, it seems to go in cycles, doesn't it? Of players kind of getting in and playing this and getting to the top of the leaderboard. So we'll see whether Matty can hold on to the top of the table by the end of the play today. We will see where we're at with it.
I suspect over the next week or two, you're going to start to see players coming back again. So summer's done. The evenings will start to draw in. The weather will get a little worse. Any late summer holidays will be done. The kids back to school, all of that sort of stuff. I suspect it'll start to be a tight little group again. I think it'll start to grow. Is my instinct, Lee?
Yeah, I would tend to agree. We'll just watch this hand play out here between Mark and Eugene, and actually Mark takes that one down, and then we'll flip back to the No Limit Hold'em main event, and we'll pick up the table here with Adam Bromley and Richard Cox on it. We'll follow a few of the hands there.
This is good, Lee, right? This is good. We should explain what's going on here, because there's some new stuff going on here, which is really exciting. So we've called this, for whatever reason you may, this is season 3, episode 1. We ran 52 episodes for season 1, 52 for season 2. So we're going to start again with season 3. And through all of those episodes, I've been changing the tables here on my laptop. And to be honest, we've spoken more about other stuff than poker. I think it's probably fair to say over the last 2 seasons. But you've taken control of the tables tonight, right? So we're actually taking those from the South Coast where you are. We're beaming them up to London, beaming them out to the guys. But you've got buttons there, right, that will enable you to go from table to table, cycle through. It's pretty cool. I'm quite looking forward to seeing whether this changes the amount of poker content that we put out on this poker show.
I'm not sure it will. Let's be perfectly honest about this. I'm not really sure that's going to be the case. All it does mean is hopefully we might catch a bit more of the action hands when they do appear, which would be quite nice if we can do that. But I think we're gonna carry on the way we are with discussing about everything else going on in the world, and then going, oh, there's poker going on, isn't there? Yeah,
well, I tell you what,
mind you, there's been a lot of poker stories. I mean, whilst we've been away, there's been a lot going on. I mean, that we've
has there? What the hell's been going on, Lee? I've been away.
Have you? You've not seen or heard anything? You must.
Well, there's a few things I've heard of. There's a few things I've heard of. Yeah,
I'm sure you've got a list there. I'd be.
I've always got a list, but funnily enough, and this probably isn't too funny, it doesn't have any poker stuff on it. There's no poker stuff on it at all.
There you go.
There's no poker stuff at all. But why don't we start with poker, and we'll work our way down from there?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan to me. So, World Series of Poker is literally weeks away now, but it's ended up in this kind of weird middle ground of rules and regs have gone back in, for which the Americans aren't necessarily happy about. But obviously, from the point of view of the UK and the rest of the world, it's kind of nigh on impossible to travel unless you're a pro, isn't it? Really. To even go out there and play any poker. Yeah.
So, I've seen some people put up on Facebook and social, Twitter, stuff like that, heading off to Mexico next week, right? Going off to get myself acclimatized and all of that good stuff. Going to be there for 2 weeks, and then bang, I'm into Vegas. I'm over the wall. That's the way they've got to do it. And it feels like it's a bit of a moving feast, because the World Series of Poker have very much aligned themselves with Nevada's health commission. So, whatever Nevada says is the rules for venues of that size at any given time. So on any given date, those will become the rules. But I think the rules today are, outside of the whole entering the US thing, which I won't pretend to want to get into. But as far as, entering the World Series of Poker, you wear a mask while you're there. You can take the mask off while you're sat at your table. And I think there is a requirement for you to be jabbed. Is that right?
Yeah, you need to prove.
You're gonna have to produce proof.
Yeah.
And that is winding up a lot of poker players. So a lot of people have been very anti that. Oh, a big hand here.
And ace is hit. And it's hit straight. And just quickly over to the other table, because we've Clancy down, because Adam Bromley has bust Anthony Clancy in 14th place, with a little ace deuce hand there.
So just as I was saying, a little bit of revolt within the poker community with regards to this one. A lot of people very fervent against needing to have the jab. It's against their freedoms and all of that sort of good stuff. And basically they're not going to go. Right? They're going to kick off.
That's pretty much the That's pretty much the gist of it, isn't it? Yeah.
That's pretty much too late now. You can't get 2 jabs in the next couple of weeks. You're gone. You're out. I guess get them now if you want to play in the main event, because it's not going to change.
No, and it is an interesting one, isn't it, as to how it's gonna pan out moving forward. So obviously that's the rules that they put in for the World Series. Just as we're watching another All In and a call, and it's Adam Bromley again, and he's turned the straight. And he's going to bust Andreas Stauder as well.
Wow.
Literally 2 knockouts in a row. And Adam goes up to 600,000.
Well, we also laid the hand of APAT on Adam's shoulder as we were doing our pre-intro ramble, in addition to Tristan, and both of them are progressing nicely. This is very unusual for any season league. Maybe season 3 is going to be a bit different. There is a comment in the chat box. It comes from that great name, the Twilight of the Beer Gods, who I think might be an author. And he says,
"It is, yes.
Good evening, Jen." So good evening to you, Robert Needham. And listen, I hope you saw our snazzy new intro, because you might see something there that'll make you sort of just feel good. I hope so, anyway. I hope so. And it's not a picture of Lee, can I say?
You might be. You're going to need to re-roll the titles at some point. That could be the only way to do it. As we lose Yanni as well, against Oliver, and we are absolutely flying now. We're down to 11 players now, and Tristan's gone back to the short stack in this tournament very, very quickly. But it's lots of all-ins and another all-in the call, and it's Demetrius with ace 10, and he's hit an ace. And it's going to be good, and he's going to get a double up. Although they weren't massively different in stacks, to be perfectly honest.
I think this is a good example of why we talk about different stuff, Lee, because the poker, it just happens too fast.
It just flies through, doesn't it?
Just massage your chips. Take your time.
There's a lot of all-ins going here, applying pressure. The big stacks now. That's for sure.
So, Lee, any idea when we can start to expect to see some World Series of Poker content on the TV? Assuming that there's going to be stuff online through Poker Go.
Yeah, I think Poker Go are going to be doing stuff, and obviously it has slightly changed in recent times in that they do a little bit more of the live. As we got another all in the call.
Ignore it, Lee. Ignore it. It's the devil's work.
It's outrageous, isn't it? There's us trying to talk about
trying to have a chat Sunday night.
Yeah, and so it's there's going to be obviously a lot of Poker Go content, but it's going to be a weird. Well, I mean, I'm glad it's back, and I'm glad they're doing it, but clearly most of the rest of the world aren't going to travel.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Americans have been put off by the rules and regs. So it'd be really interesting to see the sort of runners that they get.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because everyone is talking about wanting to play poker, right? And some of the numbers that we've seen in the UK already have been super, right? Really impressive. So the suggestion is a lot of people want to play the World Series of Poker, but because of all of the rules and regulations in terms of getting in, the COVID jab, all of that good stuff, it's bloody hard to do it, right? It's bloody hard to go and play poker. Unless you're a pro, you're planning to be there for 3 months or 2.5 months, and you can afford to go in 2 weeks early and to Mexico. Holy God.
Wow. Adam Bromley hits a 4 on the river to bust Richard Cox. Wowzers. We've got an all in a call on the other table as well. It's ace 4 against jacks. And the jacks are going to be good, and that means we are going to lose Tristan, I guess. So it looks like it's frozen there for whatever reason, which is a bit bizarre. By the looks of it, but there we go. It's because they were setting up for the final table. That will be the reason.
They were moving the chip stacks.
That'll be the reason why that was the case. Whilst they're just setting up for the final table, I'll flip back to the PLO very quickly so you can see
sweet
what's going on there.
This is good, Lee. I like this. I like this quickness, this flexibility that we suddenly have here now. I think that's good. Super helpful.
So that's the PLO. Hasn't changed. It's been six players for a little while now. But we do have our final table of the No Limit Hold, and that was the reason why there was a slight hold up there, because actually we started with one shy. We'd normally be a 9-handed final table, and we're already down to 8. So that's the reason why there was a little bit of a glitch hold up there, waiting for Poor Tristan had to sit there with his busted ace-4 against Jacks a little bit longer than perhaps he'd have liked to.
Listen,
to be perfectly honest,
I've got a really sad story for you tonight, Lee. I think you need to have this agony aunt column as part of this show going forward. It's going to be a dear. We might call this Dear Des. Okay, Dear Des. And this message is coming in from Anonymous in Dublin, and it simply states, "Missed the intro, guys." And I guess he's looking for advice. What can we advise Anonymous from Dublin?
Just miss the intro.
Just miss the intro.
I mean, to be honest, we do we have the technology to play the intro again?
Okay, let's play the intro again. Let's do that. All right, so guys, we're gonna flip out for 40, 50 seconds. We'll play the intro again. Right, here it comes. But in return,
pay attention, folks.
You got to pay attention, because there's a lot going on in this intro. Right, this is no simple intro. There's a lot going on here. So here we go. Do enjoy. God, it's never easy, Lee. There we go. So here it comes. It's Sunday night, and welcome to...
let's not do that all again,
That's
shall we?
Absolutely fantastic. I love your work there, Lee. You've done a wonderful thing. There's a lot going on in there. It could almost be one of your Friday night quizzes, right? Name all of the things that you've seen. I mean, I saw a Visit Ilfracombe in there, right? I saw that. That was pretty cool. I did see a certain author's book, right? Anonymous from somewhere in, help me here. Oh, where it's in Hertford. Anonymous from Hertford has a book in there. Mr. Needham. What else did we see? Some people who've been on the show, including yourself and myself. Cool. I saw Trump, my absolute favorite from season 1. Trump.
There is Trump. Make poker great again. There is the future is dry toast.
That's it. I saw that.
Have you seen that when you saw that one?
Yeah.
I've seen that as well. There's a Wiggle Vision.
I saw that.
Wiggle Vision's on there as well.
Don't give it all away. Leave some nuggets. Yeah. Leave some nuggets.
It's good. There. It's good. That is for sure. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So with the World Series, obviously that's kind of happening. Then we got the announcement sort of last week from Mr. Young that he's looking, looks like Dusk Till Dawn will open up soon. That got everyone very, very excited. He then also teased that there would be a big tournament, big event in January.
Did he say big?
You wouldn't believe the amount of messages I had saying, "Is that going to be the APAT team event?"
Yeah, I can imagine. Did he say big though? Did he say big?
He was talking event, so I'm assuming
it felt like it was
good. But then he pretty much told everyone to calm down, and pretty much, although the club may open in October, it very much will be a soft reopening. And nothing massive planned between now and the end of the year.
I saw him mention, I didn't see this rumor abounding, but I saw him mention there won't be any gaming machines in there, so there's no plan to put roulette and blackjack back in.
Well, he just taken out all of the casino games before lockdown. So yeah, somebody had said, "Oh, are they going back in?" And he very quickly said, "No, I don't know where that rumor's come from. It's apparently there was a suggestion it was Jake Cody that started that rumor. But
Jake,
whether,
spin him up.
yeah. So whether that was true, but yeah, I think Rob had already made the decision to pull the cards. Just as we got an all in the call here, and it's Adam Bromley at it again. A7 against Ace Jack. He's going to need some help, and doesn't get it this time, and is it's going to double up Anthony Gohan. Gohan. How would you pronounce the surname there? Gorn.
Well, I'd probably have called it Gohan. But okay, in a civilized, established city, it might be Gohan.
Yeah,
but Gohan, I think, will be the Irish pronunciation. Yeah. But to be honest, we're mad. The Irish, we pronounce things differently, like from town to town.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, well, it's just I mean, I assume that I don't know whether that's the same as I pronounce Vaughan. So whether it's Gorn, that's
It
might not be.
I'll give you an example, right? Car, right? That famous French brand, and I'm not talking about Citroën, right? Do you know which one I'm talking about? Begins with a P.
Yes.
Go on. You just explain how you pronounce it.
So we're talking Peugeot.
Yeah. So in Ireland, Peugeot. I said Peugeot.
It's a Peugeot.
First time I came to England, right?
What?
I was in a car discussion with somebody. They said, well, that Peugeot over there. I said, what the hell are you going? Man, that's a Peugeot. Don't be giving me your, this, that, and the other, right? A Peugeot is what that is, man.
Dear, oh dear. Yeah, you're a funny lot. You're a funny lot.
I tell you what, we weren't laughing yesterday, Lee, when we lost our
I was going to ask
71 goddamn years now.
I was going to. Oh, hang on. All in a call on this final table. 10s versus Ace7. Oh, and a 10. Is there an out there? No, there is. There would have been diamonds. Yes, there would have been diamonds. So possibles for Carlos, but it wasn't to be. And Martin Mulso now takes the chip lead with nearly 1.4 million, and we are down to 6 players.
Listen, before you bring tears to my eyes by asking about the Gaelic football, Mr. The Beer Gods has now seen the promo. The guys are about a minute behind us, and says, yeah, guys, that's wicked. We think it's wicked. We think it's very cool. So glad you like it, Rob. Bromley 023, right? Keeping a beady eye on the shoe.
It's going to be one of them, isn't it?
I know which one that is. That's not Adam, right? Adam doesn't give a 2 cents for shoes. But when he plays his cards right, he buys the old shoes or a handbag. She's partial to a handbag too, I believe. And that is our own Natalie. I like to say our Natalie Lee.
Yeah, might be. Bless her, who's been proper poorly recovering from COVID for the last.
COVID. Everybody's had the COVID, Lee.
Do you know where she got it?
Yeah, at the poker.
At the poker. Yeah,
I'm going to add ahead of a lot of things.
Yeah, which is when we're talking about live poker coming back and how great it is. We've all still must be very, very aware that it comes with certain risks, and it comes with responsibility. I think actually more than risk. And that's not saying that Natalie wasn't fully responsible in what she did, because she followed all the guidelines and everything she could, and still unfortunately picked up COVID in Coventry. At the GUKPT in Coventry. But yeah, everyone just needs to be aware that, you say it comes with responsibilities and there are still risks, and you've got to just keep doing the right things, and then you can go and just enjoy yourself and do lots of the events that are on at the moment.
My number 2 daughter, right, Grace, went to the the Boardmasters Festival down close to Newquay about 4 weeks ago, which apparently nuked the whole of Cornwall for COVID. Wow. Everybody's got it down there. And she was explaining to me today that on the way back into London on the bus, she said for the first couple of hours, everybody in the bus was thinking, oh man, that hangover from last night, that's pretty heavy. But she said a certain silence went across the bus by around midday, when everybody realised that, in fact, they all had COVID. It had nothing to do with the bloody alcohol. So everybody, about 50,000 people, had the COVID. They all brought it home. So Grace had it really bad for a couple of days. I mean, really bad. She passed it on to her mom, who had it really bad for a few days. Grace arrived back on the bus on the Sunday, and it was her birthday on the Monday. She invited everyone around. We were all kissing her and what have you, sharing the cake. And yeah, so mum got it, but I somehow apparently I'm impervious to this disease. I haven't got it yet. I'm sure it's coming. It does feel like
You thought you'd had
it's
it,
coming.
but then
Well,
you didn't. Yeah.
yeah, no.
Do you remember? Because remember that time where you thought you'd had it, and you reckon it was a dodgy bacon sandwich in the end.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd lost
Yeah.
my taste, but actually it was
Mm.
just I think it was just a shit food experience, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any illness. There's been numerous times over the last year and a half when I've been a bit fluey and I've thought, oh, have I got this thing? But I couldn't have it because I haven't been going out anywhere. But I'm convinced now that everybody's just going to get it. And
Yeah, I think that that may well be the way it pans out. Unfortunately, so on this final table, we just saw Adam double up Anthony with I think it was ace 10 against kings in the end. So Adam is down to 4 bigs now, but we are down to 5 players. So the guys are all guaranteed $180 now minimum cash, 765 up top.
Lee, I've got
Adam, go on.
I got a thing for you, right? Talking about troublesome teens and their travels, right? What about this girl?
Just incredible.
What's that?
Watched it last night.
So you watched it last night. Did you see her in any of the earlier rounds in the
Yeah,
tournament?
watched a little bit of it. But it was just like power play tennis. The way she just flew through the entire field.
Yeah.
The field, the competition did open up for her. Let's not
Yeah, absolutely.
kid ourselves. I think from about the quarterfinals stage, that the comments were being made by those in the know that really there was nobody left in the field that was proven. I think was the description they gave. So it certainly was an opportunity, but boy, did she take that opportunity. Just incredible.
Stunning.
And what I thought last night, it's the first time where she was under the cosh a little bit at times. And also it was the first time where really I felt the crowd were not against her, but the crowd were massively supportive of her opponent.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was anything overly negative towards her, but you can't have been playing in that environment and not have spotted that. Just as we're watching Adam all in with ace 6 against the king queen, and he's going to get that through, so he's going to get a double up. But I thought both players played really, really well last night. I must admit, I thought Layla slightly didn't do herself justice with the whole injury break. It was like, well, what, I didn't quite understand the need to be kind of still going on about that. It was clear there was kind of some blood coming from her leg and she needed to get it seen to. It was an unfortunate time, obviously in the game from a momentum point of view, but these things happen. But I guess in the heat of the moment, it's very difficult to go, because she thought that was her moment as well. She thought it was going to be her chance to show. But I think both of them could well not dominate the game, maybe, because it's very early. It's very difficult to say that at that early stage in their careers, because they're both young, but also they both really haven't yet experienced a lot of just watching a big hand here.
Oh, here we go.
Jacks for Adam, but it's kings for Martin. It's going to need to be a jacker. We're going to lose Adam, and king on the river just to make certain of it. So Adam Bromley finishes in 5th place. Good run from you, though, Adam. Very well played.
Well done, Adam.
Yeah. So yes, I think, but both are certainly going to be around for a very long time if they stay fit. Well, it's these days it isn't even a staying physically fit. I think it's staying mentally fit as well. That's clearly a thing. Certainly within tennis, it's become very very prevalent. That it's more so about actually mentally dealing with the game than anything else.
You'd have to say though, given the focus from relative obscurity on her and the home crowd, despite the fact that Fernandez was Canadian, I think a lot of that was Spanish as well. New York's a very big Spanish city. You'd have to say, I mean, and the way she talked on camera and stuff, Raducanu looked just incredly mature.
Yeah, and just it feels like she's come out of, obviously she had a good run in Wimbledon before pulling out. But other than that, I mean, she's very much come under the radar. Really has. And it's nice to see. I was gutted that folks couldn't be over there to,
Yeah.
to kind of sharing that with her. Okay, rules are rules, but it's seemed such a shame not to be able to partake. If it had been the other way round, we would have been far more welcoming with allowing people in this country. But hey,
Come on in.
yeah, you're more than welcome. Yeah,
Bring your
don't
mates.
worry if you've got anything; it's fine. Okay, yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear. So Frank has seen the promo now, and he is there we go. Wow, impressed. APAT on the big screen in Times Square. So it's ourselves alongside Raducanu who are making the headlines in Times Square today. Quite right.
It's the way it should be.
It's the
Absolutely
way it should be.
the way it should
So,
be.
the impact of that on me is that, while I from time to time might have watched a bit of men's tennis, largely driven by, for example, an Andy Murray playing a big event or going deep, maybe somebody going for a big record or something like that. I might watch, I've very rarely watched women's tennis. But having seen that, the strength of both of those players, I'd absolutely be switched on to watching.
It was
tennis.
massively entertaining.
Superb
game to watch last night, and I wonder whether it's as impressive as the Williams sisters have been in dominating women's tennis for a long time.
They dominated though. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
so
but it wasn't
competitive.
This is the point: is it wasn't competitive to watch. So it was a bit like, well, which one of them's going to win it this year? Okay, that's kind of that. And I know it isn't as straightforward as that because there's a lot more tennis that gets played, and they don't win everything. But it certainly had that kind of feel about it. Whereas what you want is the, I guess what we've had in the men's game for a good while now, with Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Murray to a certain extent, all in the mix and winning tournaments, which makes it a far more competitive and interesting game. Although absolutely. At the moment, Djokovic does seem to be in that dominating mold at the moment, but
he's got that big game tonight, right, for the calendar Grand Slam. That's
it's already underway, isn't it? We'll have started at 9 o'clock, so it will be very much underway.
Very, very, very cool. And I could see myself having a friendly little bet on that sort of stuff because it is competitive.
Yeah. Really Oliver's going to get a double up here through Anthony. Actually, say they're not a million miles off stack wise. It's going to leave Anthony with blinds now at 20,000, 40,000. So it's going to leave him with 4 bigs. And unsurprisingly, he's under the gun next hand. So has got them in. Tricky spot here though for Dominic Ginders, and holding there. It's not a case of calling any 2 cards. Certainly not with his chip stack. When we're at this point in the tournament now with 4 left, they're guaranteed $240, but the pay jumps get quite steep now at this point in the tournament. So. Look at us talking about poker.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, yeah. I mean,
I feel slightly giddy.
Yeah, it's a bit, but it was great last night to watch that. So thoroughly enjoyable. And she seems such a grounded individual. Just done her A levels and is picking up a cool check for $2.5 million.
Just down the road, Bromley, next town along. So it's like 4, 5, 6 miles away, whatever it is.
And so to be at that age and already picking up, and that pretty much makes a British number 1 straight off, I think.
Yeah. Number 23 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that says for the strength of British tennis at the moment, but it's nothing she can do about it. She's just got to carry on striving to for as long as she wants to. She's enjoying doing it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's my point, right? So as I said, you'd be inspired to watch some tennis through Andy Murray. I can remember Greg Rosetsky, Tim Hinman, of course. So those successful tennis players would inspire you to watch men's tennis, but there really hasn't been anybody in women's tennis. I mean, there have been a few pretenders, have done reasonably well, Choconta, but Kiata Vang and a lot of the other women's tennis players in Britain just haven't been able to succeed at the highest levels. But seeing Raducanu on that journey, that suddenly is going to inspire a lot of people in this country, both men and women, to get involved, play tennis, watch tennis. That's got to be a good thing.
No, completely agree with that. So Oliver Pennington there finished off Anthony Gorn in the end. So he finishes in fourth. So we're down to 3 now. And yeah, there's decent stacks here. They've all got, say, comfortably over 1 million with blinds at 20, 40,000. So I'd imagine the average stack 1.6 million. So there's a bit of play in this three-handed. We'll see how this one pans out. Still 5 left in the PLO. And we are in the money in the turbo knockout as well. We're down to 11 at the moment on that, so hopefully we'll try and catch a little bit of that as well before the end of the night.
Lee, I was thinking of getting a new car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was looking for something with a sunroof.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Can you suggest anything at all?
Well, I mean, you want something that's what can a little bit
fast. I'm
nippy?
Looking for something fast,
a little bit nippy, but room for your shopping. Yeah. Is that ideally what you want?
I'm not sure, unless you're shopping for points. But did you see this today?
I didn't watch the race, but I saw the pictures of the crash, which seemed a little bit insane when it's the kind of the two favourites for the title. Not that's not the first time we've seen that kind of thing happen in Formula One.
No,
it's not the
first time between these two. It's not the first time this season. But Verstappen's car, the back right wheel ran over Hamilton's helmet. Hamilton's going to the interview. My neck's a little bit sore because I had a Formula One car on top of it. I mean, it wasn't going fast or anything, but it was on top of it. It's just insane safety in those cars. The safety record versus some years ago is unbelievable what people are walking away from there.
Talking about Formula One, so we've been having a new patio put in the past few weeks.
That's a nice link. Have you found great builders? They're really quick. Is that
well? No, but the guy that laid our patio. Every Monday night, he races Formula One.
Excuse me? He races Formula One. You're going to say an esports or something, right?
No. It's a virtual. It's a whatever PlayStation or whatever. But they have a proper league thing that they stream.
Brilliant. I love it.
It's the Monday Night Racing Club, and they've got 2 guys that commentate on it. It's hilarious. I tuned in the other week because he was telling me about it, and so he's got a full proper setup with the steering wheel and the pedals and everything, and you have to have all of your race, all of your help stuff that you can have, like it'll do gears for you and all that kind of thing. That's all got to be switched off, and you proper race, and they've got it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So they've got different levels. So he was telling me all about that. So I checked it out on YouTube, and the 2 guys that commentate, I mean, there's at one point they're going, well, we see this happen a lot in Formula One. And I'm like, you're watching guys playing a game on the PlayStation, guys. But I thought, well, actually, is it that much different than what we do on a Sunday night with a poker? Probably not really.
Hey, we're all playing at being pro poker players, believe me.
Exactly. Well, Oliver Pennington has finished in 3rd. Knocked up by Martin Mulso, so we are heads up now. Martin against Dominic for tonight's No Limit Hold'em main event. Austria versus Austria, Des.
Love it.
But Martin does have a bit of a chip lead here, so it's going to be a tricky one for Dominic. Yeah,
Dominic's quite a grinder.
Oh dear, really?
Yeah, it's really bad that. I mean, it's not even the right spelling, but
it's not even close. I mean, it's just sorry, you're warming up back into this whole thing.
Just look at if I get paid more, Lee, I'll research the stuff and do the quality material. All right, I'll look at
you want to be
back
paid?
Episodes of Lesherman.
We paid you. Lucky we gave you a holiday break. I mean, to be honest,
just keep me.
That had to be signed off in triplicate, didn't it?
Oh my God, I forgot tonight. The Walking Dead is back.
Is it really?
The Walking Dead is back.
Oh, isn't it on a weird channel though?
Yeah, it's on. I think it's on Disney, which makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, you're going to frighten
but isn't
all
it,
the
so
little kids off the platform.
Isn't it on Stars, and Disney have basically bought the rights to use Stars to help bulk up what they've got? Yeah.
There it is, right on Disney on the main page. You see Pinocchio, Aladdin, The Walking Dead, and Cinderella. It's a bit like that, right? Amazing. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's very dark though. It's very dark. Last season
is this definitely the final season now?
I believe so.
Because I thought the final season happened about 5 seasons ago.
No,
And then
no, no,
and
no.
then it kind of it somehow come back, and I was
No,
convinced
no,
we
no,
would.
no, no, no.
I remember having a conversation with a guy at one of my clients, and we were genuinely discussing, going, "I'm sure it finished. Did it not? It felt like it finished. Didn't you
No,
think it
no,
felt
no,
like it
no, no, no,
finished?"
no, 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 no. No, but well, they're saying it's the last one. But it's hard to know. I mean, it's the classic. What was the other thing? Game of Thrones. It's a classic Game
Yeah.
of Thrones. How do you shut something like this down? Because it's been going for so long that there's such a rich storyline with characters all over the place. How do you
All
shut
in
it
a
down?
call. It's Deuces versus Kings, but the Kings are in a
Oh,
good place here. It's going to be a Deuce Martin to win it on this hand, and he's not going to. So Dominic's going to get the double up, and on we'll go.
wow. So yeah, it's back. It's dark. It's grisly. It's well acted. It's highly produced. Quite enjoying it, I have to say.
Okay, so
I've always
you
enjoyed the series.
need to have the Disney. You need to have the Disney, whatever, to be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be on Disney. Basically, you need to get
Are you on
kids
Disney
to
for the
sign up.
kids then? Is that
Oh,
pretty
look,
much it?
I'm on everything, mate. I'm like
Yeah, okay.
a really down on your luck junkie, and in
It's
Times Square.
Disney's the one I haven't signed up for you, but there's stuff on Disney I do actually want to watch. So, but I just haven't got around to it. So I've left it for the, it's like the whole Baby Yoda thing and all that kind of thing. Oh, Spitting Image is back, by the way, for season 2.
I can't.
That came out.
You talk
Oh,
Brit.
It's BritBox.
Oh,
Yeah,
BritBox. I can't go.
Seriously, BritBox is worth it for Spitting Image. It is
Wow.
brilliant.
When
Absolutely
I heard The
brilliant.
Walking Dead was coming back on Disney, I said to Sean, I said, "Have we got Disney?" And she went, "Yeah." I said, "How the hell have we Disney? Why did I know about this? Who's paying for this?" And anyway, I had to go down that line, and then I said, "Well, it's good though because The Walking Dead's on Disney."
That's all right. That's worth it then.
To your better
So
half.
I may well have to make that work. Of course, the bad thing about having being back, the only bad thing about being back on the APAT show is I can't watch Vigil live, which is the new BBC thing at 9:00 on a Sunday night. Death on a submarine, basically,
Really?
which is awesome. I think it's about
Was
3
that a
episodes
series
in.
or? Oh,
It's,
okay,
it's a 3
Vigil.
episodes.
I'm going to write that down.
Very, very good. Yeah. Really, really good.
Wow.
It's 9:00. They did a back to back. They did a Sunday and a Monday to launch it, and I think so. This could be episode 4. Actually, I think it'll be on iPlayer, so well worth watching.
Oh, I've made a note of that. Talking of Vigil, it seems like the whole of Manchester's been on a vigil for about 2 weeks now, before the second coming of our Lord Cristiano. I mean, you must have been very, very pleased with his first outing in the red top.
Yeah, I genuinely, I wasn't bothered about us signing him until there was a possibility he might have gone to City. Then I was bothered about us signing him.
What bothered you about that, just as a matter of interest?
Because I just feel it would have been wrong for him to have gone and signed for City. It just wouldn't have felt at all right for everything he did at United when he first came through, and the way he's always gone about the way he feels about the club. I'm not even sure whether the City deal was even a possibility. I'm not convinced it actually necessarily was. But
come on, he was. He was talking to them. Come on,
possibly. But at the end of the day,
you must know he was willing to go there.
I'd rather not think about that as a possibility. Let's just.
I'm not going to sully myself by thinking about that.
Yeah, let's not even worry about that. The fact is we've signed him. I saw a report the other day that they say we've already made the transfer fee back in shirt sales. How true that is or not, I'm not 100% sure.
It's not the transfer fee though, is it? It's the $500,000 a week you're paying them. It's the cash money.
Yeah, but the point is that you'd be paying a wage anyway. Okay, it's allegedly significantly more than anybody else is earning, but we're paid De Gea 300,000 a week. So what's another 10 million a year for a club of United? At the end of the day, I mean, what he proved yesterday, okay, there's talk that Juventus a worse side, even though he scored all the goals with him in it because everything was going through him, or not. Well, I don't know, but I think if the rest of the team are doing what they should be doing, he certainly will do what he should be doing, which is sticking the ball in the back of the net.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, right? I think Ronaldo's an excellent sign-in. I think he'll score a lot of goals for United this season. He will make them a better team. Where I'm playing devil's advocate, though, is in saying that where it felt like Ollie was sticking to, a proven United transfer or player development strategy, bringing young players through, and he'd stuck to his guns. He'd put players in the team. It was starting to work. I mean, they've played pretty well. He's now got a 37-year-old centre forward with I don't know what, Cavani, a mere strapling of 34.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't it feel like you know almost anti what
No,
his
I don't.
philosophy was?
I don't think it does because my concern be just we got an all in and a actually wasn't a call at all. And I don't think it does because if it was that those two players were blocking any of the youngsters coming through from getting games, I mean, I'm talking Mason Greenwood. Really, he's the he's the one, which it doesn't appear like it is at the moment. Then that's fine. Who else? We needed a striker. We needed a striker. So
Holland.
yeah, but not really available this summer at a sensible price.
Cash money. He's available. That's
yeah,
the thing.
But the fact is, in a year's time, he's going to be available for half of that, and I think it's a sensible.
Okay.
It's a sensible decision. Okay, we won't be the only club in for him, but ultimately, it could also be that Haaland has already made it clear where he wants to go, and it isn't to us. It could be that as simple as that he's got his eyes, heart set on Real Madrid or actually Bayern Munich because, Lewandowski's only probably got another couple of seasons left and they're going to need to replace. So there's lots of reasons if whys and buts, but at the moment, Haaland is not happening. And it might also be that the view is that actually they think Greenwood is actually going to step up and do the business. I mean, everyone is speaking so highly of him. We'll wait and see. I think having Cavani and Ronaldo in are two great options. The reality is Ronaldo probably arguably will play 90 minutes of most games, but interesting, Cavani wasn't even on the bench yesterday, but has had an extended break after the summer.
I expect Cavani to go in January because I mean he is in the twilight of his career. He'll want.
Well, I don't think it'll be a go. I think it'll be a case of just he's only on a year extension on his contract. It'll just be a case of saying, well, we'll just we'll just terminate the contract early if they felt he wasn't getting game time. But I would hope he will get game time because we're in enough competitions.
Probably will. But you're quite right in saying though that Ronaldo is super fit and will want to play as many games as he can do. He's a machine.
Yeah.
I think for as long as he can play, he'll be a great player to have. Just not entirely sure about the message that it sends out across the club, and that would be my only concern.
I don't really have an issue. We signed Sancho. Varane at 28 is a world class signing. That's decent. And at the end of the day, you can't keep signing youngsters, and then hope that they're gonna get to where you want them to get to. It doesn't always work like that.
Don't have to be youngsters, right? I mean, Liverpool scooped up Diogo Jota, for example. An established player, not necessarily seen at that level, but I think they've identified that they think they can get him to that next level. But for 40 million as opposed to an 80 million or 120 million Haaland, there are players in between.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I think we'd already done the Sancho deal was already kind of secured before. I think Varane was good business. I really do. And I don't think the money that we're paying in wages and everything else for Ronaldo is a massive big thing. I mean Henderson's just signed a new contract with you guys. What you paying Henderson a week?
I don't know, but it'll be nowhere near crazy money.
Or what's nowhere near crazy money?
Absolutely nowhere near crazy money. I mean,
surely Henderson, if he's signing a new contract, it's got to be 200, 250 a week, surely.
Possibly 200. I'm not even absolutely sure it would be. But he's got. I guess we've got him now to the end of his career, right? So he'll finish his contract at 33.
Yeah, at the end of the day, for a player in their prime, who's a regular quality, Premier League player, international player, anywhere between 100, 150, 200 a week is kind of fairly standard. You know, it's
Yeah,
not
the big clubs, at the
yeah,
big clubs,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
For a
The big
small
clubs,
number of
it's
players.
yeah. So for signing a Ronaldo, if it is 500,000 a week, whatever, but you're signing arguably, one of the two best players of the last,
Yeah,
of the last 15 years
but he's like
in the world. Yeah.
he's nearly 37 though. That's the question more than the money. There is a comment coming in from Triplin. Let's put this up there. Obviously, a great sign in CR7. Only downside I see is playing a 4-2-3-1 with no real width. He won't get as many goals as we hoped. Interesting. 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
that's
We'll
what
see
they
how
played
that
yesterday, right?
yeah.
Against Newcastle.
Yeah, and I must admit, Sancho's been a bit of a disappointment so far.
Yeah. He played a bit a bit better
yeah,
yesterday, right?
played a bit better yesterday. Had a couple of chances. I mean, I just get the feeling if if he gets a goal or a couple of goals, he'll kick off. I think he picked up an injury playing for England or in the England training camp. So, but seems okay from there. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we do, because obviously we signed Sancho on the basis that he was the solution to the right-sided attacking. And then you find out that actually, well, he doesn't necessarily always play there. He plays on the left as well, and
Yeah.
and so he might not be the ultimate solution. I thought Lingard did very well when he came on, and he's in an interesting situation because he's refused a new contract. I'll guess on the situation he wants to see how much game time he's going to get. But looking at the way he played for West Ham last year and the performances he's put in when he's been with England again, you kind of look at him and go, well,
Why not?
he should
Good
be getting
player.
game time. Yeah, he should be getting game time for
So
us.
maybe what Ronaldo's signing will do it'll maybe require Ollie to rethink how he sets his team out. I mean, Tristan is saying there if we play 4-4-2, I honestly think we could get 30 a season. But let's be honest, it's just great to see Ronaldo every week. And he's also saying Greenwood, Sancho, and Rashford will learn so much, which is true.
Oh,
But
there's a huge knock on with
but
the
they're going
whole
to play
thing.
fewer games as well, right? That's the downside, because Ronaldo will play game in,
Yeah,
game out.
but I think when you're training with players every day as well, that's the big thing. Yes, it's 90 minutes on a Saturday, but it's when you're training with players and you're around those players. And I think that the point with a Ronaldo is that, and it's what United have lacked, even probably the last couple of seasons of Fergie's reign. There wasn't that confidence, that swagger about that squad, where they kind of went out knowing, and Liverpool had it, not last season, but for the 2 seasons before that, where there was that swagger going out, going, yeah, it's all right, we've got this, not a problem. And United haven't necessarily had that, and yet we're seeing more winners in that United squad. And I think that will, if we can get get a little bit of momentum of confidence, that not a problem, we've got this. It could be a really interesting season for
Yeah.
United.
I have to
Really,
say,
really good.
I don't know if you saw them today, and we obviously had some really bad news with young Harvey Elliott getting
Yeah, really, a
badly smashed.
really innocuous
Yeah,
kind of
didn't
injury.
really get to see the thing. They didn't show it, but the result was not good. So he is in hospital. We think it might be a dislocated ankle. We think they've been able to reset it. Anyway, he's
Well,
been
to be
released.
fair, it can't be that bad. He was on Instagram in the ambulance, so it can't be
Yeah,
that bad.
he
Yeah,
might
so
he might have had a few puffs of the old magic sort of gas that they give
yeah,
to people in pain. But nonetheless, I thought Liverpool played well today. I thought they looked really really good against Leeds. I think they'd had over 30 shots or something, and it was like they were peppering
yeah.
Leeds goal throughout. It was good.
Let me give you a quick update. Players are just coming back from the break, so I better let you know where we are at. We're watching the heads up of the No Limit Hold'em main event. Martin Mulso against Dominic Ginders, both from Austria. Fairly even stacks in that one. If I switch over to the PLO, we have 4 players left in that: Richard Rudling Smith, Brandon Stannard, Mark Winsell, and Pavel Schlucker. Pavel's the chip leader in that, so 4 players left in that, and we're on a final table, Des, now, of the Turbo Knockout.
Great.
First time I think we've brought that one up tonight.
Who have we
And
got?
there's one Di Farrell on that final
great.
table who we will keep an eye on as well. To say they were well into the money on that now. Obviously, that's a bounty tournament, so prizes get split there. There's a few of them there with some tasty bounties. Adam Thorne and Andrew Sidoroff. Certainly there, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. But we will just we'll watch this No Limit Hold'em main event play out and to its conclusion before we jump anywhere else and see where I think it is going to be an interesting season though in the Premier League. I think Chelsea look ridiculously strong. City look quite comfortable. Liverpool have had a great start. It's interesting. Is it 3 teams at the top, all with the same points and same goal difference, isn't it? It's literally on goals scored.
And City are a point back, and they've actually got a better goal difference.
Yeah. So you kind of feel that it could be. I genuinely hope it always does end up playing down to a 2-horse race, or ultimately a team winning it with a few games to spare. But how great would it be if 3 or even 4 of them were in with a shout going into April?
Oh yeah. Well, listen, I've got a theory.
It'd be fantastic.
I've got a theory that the top 6 games, and I'd include, with obviously United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, I think Spurs and Leicester. I think that's your top 6 this season. I'm a firm believer that the games between those top 6 will be critical in terms of deciding the league, because I think these teams will largely beat the rest. So there I was in St. Ives last week with my iPad and no Wi-Fi, going absolutely crazy with the continually freezing, sort of non-freezing, pixelated, watching Chelsea Liverpool, going absolutely nuts. I never want to do that again. I'm not going away again. We're not doing that again.
It's a weird game that one was. Really
couldn't sell you, mate. All I could see was the pixelated guys. I didn't even know which team they were playing for.
It was a strange one.
Yeah, it was.
I think Chelsea showed that they've got the ability just to kind of shut up shop and see something out. Obviously, when they went down to 10, when they went down to 10, but I'm not convinced. I must admit, I'm struggle with some of the rules now on handball. I struggle with some of the rules. It seems to be much more looser refereeing when it comes to fouls and things. And then you see the red card today with the lad getting sent off for the tackle on your youngster and. I don't know. They sent him off because of what the injury, what it did, and you're like, well, but it wasn't.
No. They didn't send him off for that. Just because
surely
Gary
not.
Neville, just because Gary Neville said it.
Well, no. There was a lot of people. No. It wasn't just what Gary Neville was said. I mean, I didn't actui see the incident at the time on there, so I don't even hear what Gary Neville said.
Because I haven't. I really
no. They've not. Well, they've not. They didn't replay it apparently. So
I saw a still image of the defender coming in, and both of his legs were off the ground, and he was coming in with them split. And the suggestion is that he has actually hooked him, and it might not have been. There might have been absolutely no intent. I don't think anybody thinks there was any intent, and the player looks to be a fair player. I don't think anybody, thinks that was an issue. But I think there is a suspicion that it was dangerous play, and the red card. I mean, again, how they know this, I don't know. But Martin Tyler said I think it was on the red. He just went to the VAR before.
I think it was
issued.
Dion Dublin was analysing on BBC Sport, I think, and his view was it shouldn't have been a red, but ultimately, it's just a horrible injury. Just when he was looking like he was starting to boss the midfield and getting a place in the side, and you've raved about him as where you think he's going to be, just really, really unfortunate.
I mean, it's insane for that lad to be starting week in, week out for Liverpool at 18, but crikey, what a mature player he is.
When you signed him and you got him ended up on it was just a tribunal fee in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was 4 or 5 million, something like that.
Ridiculous. Steal. Absolute steal.
From down here in Surrey, and I think he was playing for QPR, and he's a Liverpool fan, has always been.
I thought it was a Fulham player. It's not a Fulham player.
Fulham. It could very well have been Fulham. Yeah. It could very well have been Fulham. But quite the player.
No, it's just unfortunate, but I'm sure he will make a speedy enough recovery. I mean, it's very rare does a player these days have an injury that's a career threatening
Yeah.
injury. It doesn't. It just doesn't really happen anymore, does it?
It's just that if you're at Liverpool and you haven't really bought anyone during the summer window, and
Well,
after the season that's gone, the last thing you want to see is any players
there were a
get
few
season.
Liverpool fans kind of commenting about the fact
Yeah,
that that's the problem with the transfer strategy of not just adding a few to the squad, which is obviously what City have City have added absolute quality, but when you're at the top, you've got to spend, and you paid the price for it with the defensive injuries, albeit that they were far worse than just one player. But
yeah,
last season, and let's hope that you don't pay the price with any more this time round,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
Henderson is liable to the odd injury here or there. In fact, actually,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
most of your midfield have got that in them, where they
yeah,
can be out for a little
yeah,
while,
yeah.
but
That is
nobody
true.
wants to see. I mean, nobody wants to see that. I mean, everyone wants to see Liverpool have a really good season, obviously.
It's
Yeah.
coming, Lee. It's number 20. Number 20 this year.
I'll tell you what, if you do win it this year, it'll possibly be the best win of the lot, because I do think the quality in the Premier League this season is possibly the highest it's ever been. I think Rafa's going to sort Everton out. That looks to be a thing. West Ham have strengthened and look good. Leicester have strengthened and look good. Even Arsenal, if Arteta gets that right, they've got a half decent squad there. It is by far the most competitive Premier League I think I can remember.
Yeah, it looks to be. The quality is super.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see. Did you watch the first one of the Rise of the Premier League, the documentary on BBC?
No,
Have
didn't
you
even
not
know that
seen
was a
that?
thing.
Again, yeah, it's Monday nights. First one was on last week, so it's basically about how it all came about. So they did the kind of the first season last week, and how it kind of they broke away, and what they agreed to do. It's really interesting. Yeah, hours worth last Monday. I would add that one to your list if you have the time.
I'll certainly do that.
Very, very good. There's some footage of the United players at Steve Bruce's house the night that they won the title. They were due to play the following day, the last game of the season, I think it was, and it's I think it's not footage I've not seen before, but I mean they were all there. I mean it was insane, and then you see them in the changing room the following day for the game. First of all, Paul Ince's suit is disgraceful. Before you go any further, it is proper nineties fashion wear, but it is shocking. But you look at some of them. I mean, Paul Parker looked very worse for wear that day, yeah. And Ferguson kind of is giving him the pre-match kind of talk and that going, I'm not even going to ask where you all were last night, but yeah, they were all at Brucey's house getting absolutely smashed till 4 a.m. So but they do interviews with Cantona, but also a lot of the chairman and some of the media that were involved, and that kind of thing. It's a lovely piece with one of the administrators that works at Blackburn Rovers, and she'd worked there most of her life, and around the time when they were signing Shearer, and Jack Walker's money was coming in, and how that changed that club. Really,
Oh
really
yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
really, really interesting.
I do like the business
Piece.
of football, so I will certainly have a
Yeah, they
look at that.
played all the people that they were interviewing. So there's Merson's on there, and Les Ferdinand and Schmeichel and Gary Pallister, and they play them all the opening Sky advert for the Premier League on Sky. I can't even think what the first one was. I want to say it was which band was it? It's is it Alive and Kicking? Alive and Kicking. I think that was the opening. That was the opening
Wasn't
advert that they did. Yeah.
U2 with a beautiful day? Did that come later?
No, that might have been a later one. I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and it does kind of make you go wow. But
Yeah.
it's very clever how they did it, and it basically saved Sky. It
Well,
was
it was
he set that up based on he thought that films was going to be the backbone of what was going to get people to subscribe, and basically it wasn't. And they were losing it. He said they were saying 1 million a month, and by the end of the first season of the Premier League, they'd made a small profit.
It's acquisition, right? It's getting they just brought a whole lot of new customers in.
Just incredible.
Phenomenal
Absolutely
stuff.
incredible. Yeah. But another one to add to your list, worth watching. So that is for sure. So we're still heads up in this. These guys, Martin and Dominic, as Dominic has gone all in. Is Martin gonna make a call? He'd raised it up to 280,000, and he does make the call. It's Ace Queen versus King 10. It's the King 10 that's at risk. Wow, what a flop! That's game over. That is game over. Martin Mulso is going to be our No Limit Hold'em main event winner for this week. Dominic Ginders finishes second. Very well done to him. I will flicker straight over to the PLOs. We're down to 3 in that, but superb. Not sure quite why he took so long to make that call.
Ace Queen must have looked very pretty there.
Yeah, heads up. You'd have thought that was maybe it's just might be playing a few tables. So it could be just took him a minute to actually
enjoying the moment.
Yeah, to go, yes, I will be calling with my Ace Queen. Yeah, that is for sure.
But King 10, it's just not that big of a dog. What are you, 60-40, something like
that?
Yeah,
you're not a million. You're not a million miles off there, really. So I can fully understand him having a go with that when your heads up. They've been playing for a little while. That heads up lasted for about 20-25 minutes. I think that was. Obviously with a break included in there as well, but so we're on to a bit of Omaha, Desi. We always love commentating on a bit of Omaha because online it's great. The cards come up and we've never got our words out before they're on to the next hand. So we'll see how this one plays out. But Pavel's still the chip leader here. Pavel Shuka. He's got twice as much as anybody else, actually. Mark Winsell there with 380,000, and Brandon, who bubbled the No Limit Hold'em main event. That's two good deep runs tonight from Brandon. Very well done to him. And we're down to 5 in the Turbo PKO. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. And of course, Bond is back, Mr. Duffy.
Yeah, when does he open? Is it October?
Yeah, I think it's October. I think tickets go on sale now, so I think it's a few weeks off. But it's another one which I'm unsure about. It's like cinemas. Don't know.
You just got to do it, Lee. You just got to take the appropriate measures.
I don't go and watch much in the cinema. Yeah, pretty much. I don't go and watch much. It's like if it's the new Bond film or if it's something really feel like that should be watched on the big screen. I love my films, but it's not. I don't go very often because normally Jen's not really a film goer, so I tend to be. I'm a Billy No Mates in the cinema if I go go on my own. But
I recently took out the old projector. I bought a projector about 10 years ago, and it was quite a big, sizable, chunky machine. It's lasted 10 years. We've had a lot of good value from it over the years, but I haven't had it out for a little while. And my 2 little ones have got into Harry Potter, right?
Okay.
So every Sunday night, religiously, I think we almost had this discussion a few weeks ago. Religiously, they were watching the ITV Harry Potter.
Oh, they've been doing them, working right the way through, haven't they? Yeah.
So we watched the second last one, the Deathly Hallows Part 1. We take out the projector and we watched it on the wall. Absolutely, I mean, it's huge. Absolutely huge, and we've got a sound box, and it's like it's like you're there at the old cinema. So given the success of that, I then took out Lord of the Rings 1, and we sat through 3 hours of that, just the 2 little ones and myself, absolutely blown away by it. So we've watched Lord of the Rings 2 and Lord of the Rings 3 as well. No, 3 is coming. We haven't watched 3 yet.
Okay.
So we finished Potter. We've watched the first 2 Lord of the Rings. We've got 3 to go, and then I think we might go into The Hobbit. But there's something nice. You can't do it often, right? But call it a cinema type experience. Big screen, lights off, popcorn.
But if you can do that in the comfort of your own home, then there's a lot to be said. Yeah, a lot to be said for it. Certainly at the moment. Albeit, I think cinemas are pretty safe environments, you can sit there and wear your mask if you want to, but they're super well ventilated, which I think is what makes it is better for them. Even probably better than kind of like like a West End theatre or something, because the modern cinemas have got ridiculously good ventilation in, and that does help the situation. But but Bond is back anyway. So well, after 2 delays, so they had to release it at some point, otherwise it would look really weird. Yeah.
Do you know? I think. Let me have a look here. Hopefully, we won't go off air. I think I had the Bond promo somewhere, and it looked pretty cool. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, guys,
Cool.
here's the new
Play
promo for
it.
Bond. Here it comes in all of its glory. I got to take this off first, I think. Does that work? I got to do that. There we go. Here it comes. Oh, no, that's not going to work. There we go. Here it comes.
I don't get out of bed for anything other than dry toast.
There we go.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, and considering that was filmed, 18 months, 24 months ago, that's not, it's held itself there. It hasn't
pretty
aged
modern.
at all, is it?
Apparently they spent about 400 million on it. It's like, it's incredible stuff.
That's what you want.
That was an action sequence. That was a dry toast swallow.
It's nice. That would look really good on a billboard, wouldn't it? It really would.
The Zuck as Bond. Why didn't we think of that before?
Why is that not a thing? Yeah.
That was for Natalie if she's still out there.
Yeah, the name's Bond. I'm friends with 8 of your friends. Do you want to be friends too? Yes. And of course, a new iPhone being announced on Tuesday.
Yeah. I did lean into
13.
I did lean into Sean earlier today. I said, the Apple thing, that's going to happen next week. Should we both watch that in bed or whatever? Just lying back, because it's always late. Is it late?
No, it's like 6
The
o'clock.
last one was late.
6 o'clock in the evening.
That was the Xbox one. I find them super entertaining. I love the production on them. They really.
It's another virtual one from
building.
It's another virtual one from Apple. So they're always super stupidly slick.
Like
when it's
product manager stood on the roof.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's very clever how they do it. The time they must spend into producing, putting the whole thing together. When it's just they're in their auditorium or whatever, and they're on stage, it's a little bit easier. But these, I mean, there's an argument that says, why would you go back and do that? Because actually, the virtual ones are so much more entertaining to watch. But I'm sure they do take a lot more time and effort to do it. They got the resources and the money, haven't they? They're fine. So. It shouldn't be much. Oh, just over on the turbo. Di's got it all in with Jacks versus Queens, but she's only gone and flopped a Jack. She's only gone and flopped a Jack, and gets a double up through Adam Thorne. Di's still in the mix, 4-handed. Head back to the Omaha. It's Mark and Brandon in this hand, and. A little bet from Brandon there. Mark raises it up and Brandon lets it go. But Brandon's now really short stack now. He's got 173,000 with blinds at 12.5 and 25. So he's only got about 7 bigs now, and one of them's in the middle already. Let's see. We're going to call it. And is he going? He's going to go for a raise pre here. Pretty much committing himself in. No, he gets it through. So that's good. Nice play from Brandon. They're all trying to limp in to see a flop, and I guess in his situation, he doesn't really want to let anybody see a flop cheaply there. So, with his stack, so raise it up, and there's nearly a double up from him there actually, just by taking the blinds.
I don't know if you twigged it, Lee, but we have stuck a national live seat and a national online seat into the team's fantasy World Series of Poker competition. So Carl, John, the guys, they run this every year. It's a really successful competition because there's lots of feedback coming back, event after event in the Facebook group, to update people on how their players are doing. So you go in there, you pay a little entry fee, you pick your, I think it's 10 players for the World Series of Poker.
Any 10, yeah.
Any 10.
They used to do split it by groups of American players and overseas players and an up and coming and all this kind of thing. But they've now make it straight 10. You can pick any 10 you like. I will let you know now, Des and I aren't playing a big schedule this year. So
really
you
small.
might
Just the
not want
10Ks.
to, you might not want to pick us this year. But I mean, obviously, if you do, we'll try our best in whatever it is we choose to play. But we're not doing it. We're not doing a full on. We just said we fancy seeing a bit more of Vegas this year, wasn't it, Des? Just like let's enjoy it whilst we're there.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't all be poker.
Particularly after last year, Lee. I don't know about you, but like I turned up for the main event.
I've got to go back again because Di's all in with ace 5 against ace 8, and she flops a 5 this time.
OMG.
Di Farrell is on an absolute roll here, and goes into even more into the chip lead with 3 players left.
Wow, she also has been touched by the rather unholy hand of APAT,
Yes.
who are a bishop.
This is a whole new thing. Season 3 of the APAT show. We're actually calling players out, and then they're winning. This is wrong. This feels very wrong. Anyway, back to the Omaha.
Yeah, but check out. So if you're out there and you want to take part in a friendly competition across the World Series of Poker, not sure I'd pick too many European players at the moment, but check out Carl and John's fantasy poker page.
I think there's links in the Facebook group, so you can go and find it from there. But well worth getting out. So it's free to enter, so very worthwhile.
Some great prizes, and there'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, have a bit of a sweat. Whilst, because as I say, there's not a lot else chance of getting out to the World Series this year.
So what do you think, Lee? I was thinking we would do a daily update like we did with the WCOAP, just a 2-minute video. Hey, day 1, here's what happened. What do you think?
Here's what happened. Yeah. Some Americans won a tournament.
seven people in a tribute to the first World Series of Poker main event. 7 people turned up for event number 1, and here's how it went. Everybody reached the final table.
7 turned up. 3 weren't fully vaccinated, so they got sent away. 2 had forgotten to bring their masks, so they weren't allowed to play. Another 2 started coughing on the 3rd orbit. So basically, the only one left got the bracelet. So that was
quite
a nice
an honor
result
for a dealer.
It was a nice result, to say the least. Interesting. Lots of things are doing. Obviously, IPO over in Dublin have announced that so Nick and the guys are looking to run that. Probably came a little bit too soon for us from an APAT point of view. I think.
Oh, we looked at it, didn't we? We looked at it.
We had a look and just felt it was just a little bit too soon for us to want to do it. I did have a look through their kind of COVID rules and regs and what they were going to do, and actually I think they've been very fair in what they're doing. They've got some strict rules in place over what you need to do to from a precautionary point of view, but then also if you do test positive for COVID during the event, they've been pretty fair about how they will if you're in the money, they will pay you out. If you're not, they will give you a refund dependent upon your stack size. So that if they're saying to you, well, actually, you can't continue playing this tournament, not a case of there's the door, see you later. They've got some guidelines in place, which means that actually you'll get a little bit of your buy-in back, perhaps, or if you're over the starting stack, you'll get your full buy-in back. That seems quite reasonable, I think. It seems a sensible way to go with it.
The only thing is, and look, somebody has to start the ball rolling somewhere, but there hasn't been any poker events in Ireland. So Ireland's in a slightly different place to the UK on stuff like this. So there is an element of a little wing and a little prayer that it'll all be fine. And of course, that'll continually update itself in the coming days and weeks. And hopefully everything is fine and we get the whole thing away because, it'd be lovely to see the IPO happening.
Exactly. And it's all the little things, the little details regarding, the kind of the dealer rotations that they're keeping that to like 4 or 5 tables. So the same dealers will stick on the same 4 or 5 tables, rotating so that, it's trying to do what they can to minimize the risk. But obviously, at the end of the day, you're playing poker and moving chips and cards around, and ultimately, if there are if there are people that go and play that avoid whatever testing or whatever and are positive and bring it into that environment, well, you can have all of the all of the things in play that you want to have. You're not going to stop it from spreading around. So again, there's a responsibility from those that want to go and play, that if you want to go and play, do the right thing. Make sure you're vaccinated. Make sure that you're testing, and if you do any symptoms or anything, or you're unsure about anything, get checked, because ultimately you don't want to be the one that's in there helping spreading it around a room of poker players. That's not really what you want. And it can happen, like you mentioned before with the festival. It's how easily these it can
We've seen it in
can be
Manchester
spread.
at the GUKPT, right? So
Yeah.
there have been elements of it. It's hard to keep out.
Yeah, and I think Rob with Dusseldorn is doing the right thing with just soft opening. Let's get back open, get some regular games going, and see where we are moving forward. Yeah, it's very much, and that's where we are from an APAT point of view. We've been talking about it with the team, and very much it's a case of we're just going to see how some of the events go. Although the GUKPT are open and up and running, that hasn't come with no new cases or no nothing whatsoever, as has been mentioned. So yeah, we've just got to be sensible about it, I think. Although I see that they've also announced Goliath for next year already, so they're already making plans for that. So.
Oh, well, that would make sense. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that would, at a point, we'll announce something. We just have to. You have to move on.
It's self dealt tournament in Plymouth, isn't it? That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
I think Tom's going to deal all of the tables.
Yeah,
It's gonna
Tom's
be
going to
small
deal every
tournament.
single table. So just to make sure we minimize it. So you might have to wait a little bit to get your cards, but don't worry, that'll be fine.
But on the plus side,
Effectively Kings versus Aces there. Although Pavel had actually flopped a flush, and then Mark rivered a full house to take that one down. So we're now heads up in this, and it's a huge chip lead for Mark against Brandon. They have a quick chat in the chat, wish each other the good luck, and but this one might not take too long here now, Des.
well, we'll see. We'll see. It will be interesting indeed to see. The main event of the World Series of Poker Online has been won by a Russian, if I'm not mistaken. Lee, did you see that he took $2.5 million in the last couple of days?
Do you know what? Not really paid any attention to it.
The same.
It's just I don't know. We said this last year, didn't we? When they ran it last year, and it's like it just doesn't have the same feeling to it. So I've not really been keeping up with it. But great if you did. Obviously there's a number of big events and things going on at the moment. Obviously WPT have got things going on as well, and obviously the W Coupe is main event is tonight as well. So again, it's the problem. There's so many of these big events. It just doesn't feel like it's the same as anything like the. And also, I couldn't understand that having an online version of it so close to having the live one seems a little bit bizarre as well. It would have just been easy just to hold off, but obviously they're still on that money grab of whilst they can before things have now opened up, and whether players are going to, there's going to be less people playing poker now. We'll have to wait and see.
It has to be said, though. I mean, the guarantees have been huge, and they're largely, hitting a lot of those guarantees. So, I mean, there must be there remains tremendous demand from the players for these big events.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that seems to be the way it is. We've got to we're heads up with Mark against Brandon here. We're also heads up in the turbo, and it's Die against Adam. In fact, it could all be over here.
Here we go.
And it is going to be all over. And Die is going to win the turbo tonight. Cracking result for her. She picks up waiting for that to come through on the lobby. $80 plus another 88 in bounties. So and she came into that final table. I think she might not have even picked up a bounty before she hit that final table. But has had an absolute superb final table and picks up the win tonight. Well done to her.
Well done,
So just
Di.
the one left then. There's just the
Let's do it. Heads up.
just the Omaha left now. We are heads up, and now I'll quickly try and get some of these results in so I can get a final leaderboard before we go off air tonight. But Brandon's picked a few chips back up here. He was down to about 300,000 when they went into the heads up. So he's picked a few up, but whether it's going to be enough, we will see. So I mean, would you want to go and play poker at the moment, Des, or is it still of a view that you
love to go? I'd love to go, but for
Yeah.
the fun element more than anything else, really, the social and just the getting out side of things. From a pure, caution point of view, I mean, I'm sort of resigned. I've seen so many people have it over the last few weeks. I'm sort of resigned that at some point, we're all going to have to brush through it.
Well, you said that. You said you just feel at some point, and the trouble is it's not a case of you only get it once.
Oh,
So
yeah, absolutely.
that's the problem is that you could easily, it could be numerous times that you end up picking it up, which it's a difficult one, isn't it?
I mean, I like the thought of the organizers having standards around, masks use, at the appropriate time, jabs. I quite like the thought of that. I think that's sensible at this time. So yeah, in that sort of circumstance, I'd consider it. I certainly wouldn't play in a mask. I'd have absolutely zero interest in that. I'd find that no fun whatsoever. But in terms of, I mean, I'm quite ready to go and play. I'd love to go to Vegas and just have that type of experience.
Yeah, but obviously we're heavily reliant on the US authorities actually actually letting us in, and that seems to be the problem at the moment, isn't it? Is it doesn't seem to be any urgency from them to actually to make that happen.
Now,
for whatever reason.
Lee, you had been, part way to planning a trip this October.
We were all
pretty
all
close,
keen
right?
to go.
So
but
where are you with that? Is it on hold or have you cancelled it?
pretty much not. We hadn't booked anything, so but yeah, we had a chat the other day and just said it's just looking very unlikely, just on the basis that you can't be assured you're even going to get into this country at the moment.
Yeah.
So whilst that's the case, then there's very little point in in booking up. Obviously, we're all in the fortunate situation that I guess there's another World Series of Poker on the cards next May and June. So yes, we'll wait for that. Is this going to be it? I think with the king on the end, it is going to be it.
There we go.
That is going to be.
Well done, Mark.
That is going to be that. Very well done to Mark. Superb performance from him. Let me just bring up the lobbies so you can see the final the final situation. So so it ended up that Di picked up the win in the turbo, last one of the night. We've just seen Mark Winsell take the win in the PLO. Earlier on tonight, we saw Martin Mulso beat his Austrian compatriot Dominic Ginder's heads up in the No Limit Hold'em. That went on for a little while. It was a good heads up, that one was. And earlier on tonight, it was Alexander Selbe from Germany that won the deep stack. That means after all of that, another week's worth of leaderboard ladders, Konstantin Chersin from Russia, first time top of the leaderboard. He's been consistently in the top 20 though for the past few weeks. He's actually at step 4 at the moment. 5 cashes this week though puts him top of the table, just a couple of points ahead of Di Farrell in the leaderboard. Di's on step 1 at the moment though, so we've got off lightly there, Des. Couple of $5.50 tickets for that. Ray Chan from Canada is 3rd. He picks up a couple of tickets. That pesky Gordon MacArthur, he's on step 4 at the moment, so he's going to pick up a couple of tickets. And Matty Ogilvie from Canada. He's on step 5 at the moment, so he's going to pick up a couple of tickets
Superb.
as well. Richard Rudling-Smith that won leaderboard last week. He finished 6th, so another good run from Richard. He cashed 4 times this week. Other than that, in the top 20, I think we've got off very, very lightly. Our own Tony G, Anthony Giantini, he finished 15th. He's on step 2. Everybody else, though, in the top 20 are on step 1 this week. Des, I think we've done quite well, my friend. I think we've done quite well.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it. Right, we've done it. Thank you to everybody who played this week. Good luck to those of you who will start the same journey next week. Lee and I will be back next Sunday night to do this all over again. You can enjoy our snazzy new intro once more, right? And why not? There's still plenty to see in there. And until then, we hope you have a great week. So cheers from us, guys.